Hello, TradingView community. Welcome to my new analysis about EURCAD on several time frame perspectives. And with EURCAD, it has to be mentioned that EURCAD within the recent times has formed crucial developments that should not be underestimated in any cases. Because what has to be mentioned here, EURCAD several times pull it back towards the downside from these important levels, and always with these heavy pullbacks towards the downside, Euro CAD increases with heavy bearish pressures towards the downside, liquidating a lot of long positions within this market. And it has to be mentioned that the euro is especially weak within the recent times because of the major historical high inflation rates within the Eurozone, and which are followed by the increasingly high interest rate developments that are all negative factors for the euro. And this means that these bearish waves to the downsides, these bearish waves are actually supported by the major underlying macroeconomic developments that should not be underestimated here. And there are also still ongoing supply disruptions together with the potential next corona wave that they already published. And this means that when this corona wave is actually being taken seriously by the major official sources. You know what official today means. This means that there's a possibility that further supply chain disruptions increase within the upcoming times. And for Euro CAD, this means that Euro CAD heavily bounced and pull it back from this heavy descending trendline formation several times towards the downside, and Euro CAD is now penetrating this ever so crucial, important remaining support zones within this whole structure, in which it heavily bounced several times, testing this crucial level several times. And this means that when this level is broken towards the downside, this is going to accelerate the heavy bearish dynamics towards the downside in an huge manner, and this is going to have a so enormous effect on the Euro CAD forex trading pair exchange rate that the bears will accelerate with heavy momentum into the lower direction, and this will actually be a grievous scenario for Euro CAD, especially with the current high inflation rate, with the high stagnation rate, with the high stagflation rate, and also with the supply chain disruptions, which are battering the Eurozone economy heavily. This means that there's a high possibility that this scenario actually shows up within the upcoming times. Also, when considering this whole structure here, it has to be mentioned that Euro CAD actually forms this major head and shoulders formation within this whole structure. And such a head and shoulders formation is completed once the final breakout below the lower boundary actually happens and increases. This means within this whole structure, Euro CAD is already below the major EMA structure, below the ever so crucial 100 EMA. Euro CAD has broken below this 100 EMA, and this means that this is actually also already a crucial setup which Euro CAD already confirmed here, as it broke it below the 100 EMA, and now this is actually a major crucial heavy resistance for Euro CAD because it is pulling back several times from this 100 EMA, and this means there's a high likelihood possibility that a next major breakdown below this 100 EMA happens, and it is going to accelerate the final breakout below the boundary neckline of this whole head and shoulders formation, from where the further continuations are likely to accelerate towards the lower levels of this whole zone. And in this case, it has to be mentioned that Euro CAD also still has this major determination. Once this wall formation has shown up, this is going to determine the final target zones of this wall head and shoulders formation. And in this case, the head and shoulders formation will activate the target zones between 1.35573 and 1.36145, and this will be the initial target zone. And in this case, it will be heavily important how EURCAD actually forms the final determinations into these target zones, because if Euro CAD actually increases with heavy bearish pressures, there's also still the major possibility that Euro CAD just continues with the further bearish dimensions below these lower target zones and just continues with the next bearish inclinements below these levels and the bearish formational structure continuations below these levels. And this will actually be a crucial determination from where Euro CAD needs to show if it is actually breaking down to further levels, or if it has the possibility to hold these levels and to form a major reversal within this whole structure. Therefore, there are 5 major determinations to consider here. The first determination is the major head and shoulders formation. Once this major head and shoulders formation has been completed, this is going to activate the second major determination here, which will be the final confirmational pattern, the final formational confirmation. And then the third determination will be the actual economic development, because when the interest rates and also the inflation is spreading further to the upside, this means that this is going to fuel the Euro CAD bearish development further within the next times. And this is also a major important development, especially together with the supply chain disruptions. This is going to fuel a major bearish development towards these levels. And the first major determination will be how EURCAD actually approaches this main head and shoulders formation target zone, because from there on, this is going to lead the way to the final outcomes. And it will be also important in this case how the final supply chain disruptions are actually easing, because it is heavily important that the supply chain disruptions that are battering the Eurozone economy are decreasing, and that there's a healthy recovery within these supply chain disruptions. Because without this, with further supply chain disruptions within the Eurozone, this means that there's a high possibility that inflation just increases heavily within the next times, and that there will be major excess within the inflation rate, and this will be not a bullish sign for Euro CAD. And in this case, it has to be mentioned when these grievous bearish bear market developments and high supply developments are increasing further, there's a high possibility that Euro CAD just continues into the bearish zone developments. And in this case, it has to be mentioned that Euro CAD still has this major A, B, C wave count within this huge structure, which will be completed once Euro CAD actually approaches these final target zones. Because when the inflation and everything around increases further and the bearish momentum increases further into these levels, this is going to accelerate into a wave C extension into the bearish zones. And this actually will be a huge determination, because in this case, all these factors should not be underestimated here. And therefore, because of the significance of all these important developments, I am taking the symbol on my watch list, and I am going to reconsider all these important factors once they have shown up within the upcoming times. And it will be a really important development to consider. With this being said, it will be great when you follow my project further with a like, follow, and comment. With this being said, have a good day. Bye bye.